Hello and welcome back to Necromancer, and we're going to be fighting Mr. Archon Rico. First name Archon, second name Rico. No, that is not actually the case. That is his title, but I thought I would make a funny joke. I know, you are laughing, ha ha ha. Anyway, let us move in to this battle, and we will see what we can do against him. Now, I've taken a look at his composition. He doesn't have anything too bad. He does have some unique units, as is mostly the case with this mod. I'm actually really impressed that most of these, I don't know, similarly random vassals. I'm obviously not very familiar with Warhammer Fantasy and the various lore surrounding it. I do know a couple of loosely based things like, you know, factions and so on and so forth, but I don't know specifics. So anyway, the point is, this guy does have a couple of Rico-based units, and I'm just very impressed that he actually has some, because I had no idea who he was. But anyway, let's see if I can maybe do something here with Wind of Death. Boom. Wow, I literally almost got myself killed. Let's hopefully be able to heal myself. Nice amount of damage being done right there. Let's get Withering Wave going on too. Of course it would walk backwards, wouldn't it? It would float backwards. Are you serious? Get in there. Get in there. Go, go, go. Ah, see? See, now that's the kind of situation where I just go grumble, grumble, and yeah, then I just think to myself, why? Why did that have to happen? That was pretty terrible. Yeah. Well, though, to be fair, I didn't actually see the marker slash symbol slash thing that tells me where my spell is going to end up. So, yeah, that was a bit of a mistake on my part. But anyway, let's just go along the line here, try and do as much damage as possible. Wow, that was actually pretty significant. If I can just get a good Withering Wave off. There we go. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. Thank you very much. Okay, I will now extricate myself from the situation. And I eliminated 88 units. I could probably do a lot better than that, to be fair. Probably a lot better than that. But, yeah, that's what we're going to have to deal with for the moment. Technically, what I could do now is, if I was actually fighting a much larger force, I could run away. So, in other words, I could retreat. And I could come. Oh, look at this, look at this. My Necromancer's actually doing some massive damage. Nice. I love seeing that. That's really cool. Okay, yeah, so I guess obviously because my Wind of Death actually damaged them initially, that made a huge difference to how much HP they had, and then my Necromancers were able to eliminate them without having to deal the initial damage to get them even lower. So they were basically within a hair's breadth of being murdered completely, so that's great. Anyway, as I was saying, I feel like it would have been maybe a good strategy for us to just retreat and come back in. But obviously that is a bit, I don't know, it is a bit circumstantial potentially, because I don't want to be in a situation where I mean, that's the point. I don't want to game the system, so to speak, you know, because there are those strategies that you can use. In some circumstances, I think they can be very logical and very strategic and so on and so forth, but some of the time they just feel very gamey, and it's not something that I would like to employ a lot of the time. And these kinds of situations arise when, let's say, for example, I don't know. I mean, there's barely ever going to be a time where you're going to be able to retreat away from a force that is much larger than your own. Usually they are going to be the ones that will be aggressive towards you. So it's going to be highly unlikely that you're going to even be able to retreat then anyway. But let's just say that you do have the ability to retreat from a larger force. Well, many cases, I feel like that. I don't know. Yeah, I think it very much depends, as I say. It's very much circumstantial, very much situational, and you're going to have to make that call at the time. Anyway, I'm going to take this guy prisoner. Probably going to head to the nearby town. Yep, going to head to the nearby town. That's what it's called. And we'll see what we can do over there. I'm just going to take all of the prisoners, or as many prisoners as I can get my hands on, and let's move on. There we go. I'm actually not going to be taking any units to give to Siegfried right here. I was actually partially thinking that I might decide to just let him run around and just see what happens. But, I mean, we've kind of seen what happens, to be honest. They always do that really weird stuff where they just get themselves murdered. every single time. And yes, I know, there is a way for you to change their behavior. You can switch them to a different priority right here. Obviously, at the moment, that doesn't actually seem to be working for some reason. I mean, I guess it's because they're in an army at the moment. Yeah, that's probably the reason. But yeah, you can change their priority. I do know this. I have done this in previous series. And for me specifically, I have never found that that actually makes a difference in any positive way. Yes, it might keep them out of aggressive situations or stupid situations where they might get themselves eliminated, but not all the time, and in that case, they're not really going to be doing anything either. So it's a bit of a half and half sort of situation where you really kind of want them to do something, but then they end up doing nothing at all. So I don't know. That's just my experience. Maybe it's going to be different because this map is, well, albeit it is very, very large, there are only 2 factions on it. So we might actually have a slightly better result from maybe making our forces into more of a defensive behavior, possibly. Not entirely sure about that. Anyway, I'm just going to sell as many units as I can here. I'm actually thinking that I might try to get a new horse. That doesn't seem to be working. I could get a ghost horse saddle, as you can see right there. It's going to cost me 60,000, which is actually crazy. There are no other horses available here, unfortunately. I know that some people have been telling me that it might be a good idea to get a new horse. Well, this is the current horse I'm using right here. It's pretty good, as you can see, but obviously I don't have the ability to buy a better one at this point. I would like to be able to do so, and maybe I will be able to, but obviously not at the moment. So let's see what I can do and venture into enemy territory. I do see a number of vassals around here. Who's this? Oh, hello there. You are very new. I don't think I've ever seen you before. Let's try and see if we can do some damage to this fellow. I feel like my spells don't do enough damage, but on the one hand, I don't really want to get murdered instantly if I wear Necromancer gear, you know? Because there's 2 very big extremes. I mean, not really extremes, I guess you could say, but let's just go through it. Because here's the thing: if I have a full Necromancer armor piece, gear, whatever, let me restructure that. If I wore full Necromancer gear, I'm gonna die instantly to basically anything. But if I wear vampire armor, heavy armor, then I'm going to not do that much damage with my spells and so on. And I am wearing gloves and cape, I think. Necromancer gloves and Necromancer cape. Not sure if it actually provides me with the bonuses that I need, but you saw in that previous episode. I hope you did see the previous episode. If you didn't, then I'd recommend just checking out the tournament section, because that was very funny. Yes, I know. Anyway, point is, I went into that tournament and, well, things happened, and because of my gloves, I did notice that I got hit on my arm, I think. I got hit on my arm, and my arm armor and protection is so incredibly low that I just literally fell over. So that is something that I'd like to try and avoid, but I would also like to have decent spells. So maybe I can, I don't know, maybe I can just check out what my current gear gives me and then see if I maybe need to switch it around or something like that. But anyway, it seems like my forces, they're actually running in a bit of a straight line here. I might be able to get a wonderful cast of Winds of Death off. Let me see if I can actually... No. Apparently I will not be able to. I actually wonder what I died from. Who killed me? I will see immediately. An Empire Huntsman? Surely not. One of these? And surely not. Okay, surely. I mean, I have no idea what kind of stats this particular unit has, but I am for certain going to be checking that after this. I feel like I should retreat and come back in. But I think my forces should be able to achieve victory here without me, but I am very skeptical of that, because usually I'm in there doing massive damage with my spells and being able to demoralize the opponent quite significantly, if nothing else. And no, it does actually seem like we are going to achieve victory here, but still, yeah. What a classic, eh? What a classic. And that's really funny as well, because I'm actually wearing a vampire helmet. And a vampire helmet gives me probably one of the highest forms of protection that you're going to see. So it's kind of weird to me that I would have died almost instantly from, well, anything right there. But it happened. It happened, and I am now forever sad. Oh yes, very, very good, very good. Forever sad indicates the next 2 seconds. Anyway, there we go. We are now done with fighting those guys. Let me actually just take a quick look at the Empire Huntsmen, because those guys seem to be either very lucky or very good. Let's just take a quick look. Where are they? Nope, they are good. Okay. I mean, they're not good, but they are the best that the Empire has to offer, and they do use archers as well as crossbowmen and gunners. They have every single thing under the sun by the looks of things. These are tier 5s as well. It's really, really weird how I was eliminated from this thing. Oh, they're using noble longbows. Okay. That actually makes a whole deal of sense. Okay, so obviously, if you don't know anything about the base game of Bannerlord, noble longbows are the best bow in the game, basically. I mean, you can get noble bows, or you can get the longbow variant. These are obviously a bit different in the way that they work, and I think they have slightly different stats. I could be wrong about that. Not entirely sure, but whatever the case, noble longbow is a weapon to be reckoned with, and that's probably the reason why we got ourselves killed so incredibly quickly. But let me just take a quick look. Yeah, I have 38 head armor. It's not great, but I feel like I should have survived at least that one hit, but I guess not. Anyway, let's just take a quick look at what this actually provides me. It gives me magical resistance as well as 10% magical damage amplification. See, now, I'm wearing the shoulders because this is body armor, you see? And I already have pretty significant body armor from my vampire armor itself. This also gives me arm armor, bear that in mind too, so I'm not sure where I got insta-gibbed in that tournament, but anyway, we're also wearing these braces. Oh, look at that, they actually give me 18 arm armor. Okay, I had no idea. I thought that it was giving me much less. I thought it was giving me like 2 or 3 or something like that, but no, it actually does provide me with 18, which also, never mind. This actually does not benefit me in the least. So, I'm going to have to do something about that, I suppose. Yeah. It's good that I checked it, eh? Yeah, it's good that I checked it. So that now has confirmed my suspicion that indeed my gear is not very good. I mean, my cloak is okay, but everything else is relatively, well, awful. So I'm going to see what else I can do here. I mean, I'd love to be able to purchase something like this, but this does not look very vampire count-ish. So I don't really want to, because it looks way too human, in my opinion. It looks way too, you know, empire-ish, and I don't really want to do that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to stick around for the moment in this current area. And then what I will do is, oh yeah, I actually needed to sell my... prisoners. Yes. Now I've wasted a little bit of money. Oh well, it's actually not too bad, to be honest, because let's face it, you know, an extra 6,000 here or there is not really going to break the bank, as it were. Anyway, strong legs is something I will always take 100% of the time, every single time. It is just so incredibly good. And otherwise, we're going to go for sweeping wind, I think, because I'm not usually using a thrown weapon or archery or anything like that. So we're just going to take this. And what do we want to do? I could increase my steward skill, could increase my polearms. I think I'll increase my polearms a little bit and my riding skill, I guess. And then we'll go for another point in what? Endurance. Alright, so we're in another battle right now, and I'm very much hoping that I'll be able to use a couple of my spells here. I'm going to just try and use a spell right now, just to try and weaken up a bunch of the enemy. Seems to actually be going much better than just weakening them. and maybe I can just get a wonderful Withering Wave. I would like... you know what? I can't do that. I can't, in all good conscience, literally think to myself, oh yes, let me just use this right now, and then murder my entire front line of troops. I mean, if Withering Wave actually does do that. But yeah, I think it might. So let's just err on the side of caution there a little bit. But yeah, we're otherwise done. This was a very, very simple fight. I was basically just going in here just to get rid of him, to be honest. Wanted to make sure that all of the vassals are, well, theoretically limping around. You know, we really don't want them to be building up their strength in any meaningful fashion, and we want to try and make it so that they never, ever truly gain momentum. That's actually one of the things that you kind of need to do if you want to achieve any kind of, you know, adequate territory expansion in Bannerlord. I know that may seem a bit weird, but it's very much a case of war by attrition in this kind of style. Because if you make it so that the vassals do not have any units that can actually oppose your AI friends, then your AI friends can go around and do whatever they want to do, and it's actually a lot easier for them in the process. So that obviously makes a big difference. Anyway, that's my strategy at least. That's generally what I tend to do and what I like to do because it seems to be pretty effective. I mean, I don't want to say it's the most effective thing ever because I'm sure that there are many, many better ways to progress, but this one I found to be quite efficient in the way that it does things, and you get a good amount of action yourself as well, because you're not just sitting on the sidelines or, you know, doing whatever. You're always embroiled in some kind of action. I'm actually just going to auto-resolve against this guy right here. I would like to move on as fast as possible. There we go. I'll just take all of that. And yeah, we also need to start leveling up our forces because I haven't done that for a very long time, and I'm actually wasting massive amounts of experience in the process. But yeah, there we go. Okay, so we have these guys. Now, look at this fellow right here. You see what he's got? He literally has nothing. He literally has nothing. Like, I'm not even talking about, oh yeah, he has a Reichsguard knight, he has, you know, some noble cavalry and so on and so forth. But all these units, they don't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, because those units, they are so easy to eliminate that we can just relax, you know, we can just completely relax and we don't need to worry about them dealing any damage to us whatsoever, even in an auto-resolve in this situation too. So I'm basically just going to be escorting this guy, pretty much, Mr. Baron Derek. Yes, Baron Derek is, well, is hopefully going to be able to capture this. Yes, he did. Look at that. Fantastic. He actually succeeded. Wow. Really surprised about that. And now we can, well, we can probably just sell a bunch of stuff as well. Okay, there we go. 19,000. I might decide to sell all of my weapons as well. These things really sell for an insane amount. They really do. I mean, literally, it went up from, what was it, 17,000 to 34,000 or something like that. So yeah, that was actually really nice. Anyway, I'm going to be waiting here for some time. We've taken one of the largest towns that the enemy has available to them as well. So that makes all the difference in the world about, you know, territory expansion and denying the opponent any form of troop movement too. Because, for example, you see exactly where they can go now. Well, I mean, they're a pretty significant territory as it is, but this is very much an outlying fief. You can see how far away it is from the other places, and the enemy is going to have to come over here to be able to do anything, and it's gonna cost them a lot of time, you know, especially in these larger armies. One of my parties has just been eliminated in one of the other armies as well, which is actually somewhat sad, but what can you do? Gonna have to pay the ransom. And then I will find him somewhere. Where actually is he? If I can actually do this. There we go. I'm going to actually just use telepathy to talk to him right now. Hello there, sir. Join my party. There we go. He's now rejoined our party, thankfully. So now we can make a party again if we so desire. and so on. And there you go. He's actually given this to the guy that took it, which I think is adequate. I think that's a pretty good idea. And I actually feel like I should go in for this siege. Should we try to take something? I mean, the last time that I did a siege, I crashed. So I'm going to be a little bit careful about this. I'm going to increase my armor while on foot. We're going to increase our movement speed on the world map during nighttime, and we're going to go for deep pockets, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Roguery is not really that useful. The perks are not really that useful to me at the moment with this particular character, but if you play like a bandit-based character or something a little bit more sneaky, a little bit more criminal, then roguery is very good. Also, the passive benefit of roguery is exceptionally powerful. Almost deceptively so, I would say. Anyway, we're now going to be earning a little bit of engineering skill. Oh, hello there. Never mind. We're not going to be earning any engineering skill because apparently Baroness Molly has taken offense to my action. There's Rico again. Hey, Rico. What are you doing? Not defending again? Wait a minute. What's that? What's the quote? I'm doing my part. Yes. There you go. There's the reference. Anyway, if you get the reference, then thumbs up to you. If you don't, then well, yeah, maybe you can Google Rico and I'm doing my part or something like that, and then you'll find out. Anyway, let's see what we can do here. This is actually a nice change in Battlefield, because usually there's a lot of mist, there's a lot of fog, there's a lot of different objects and things in the way, but this is really nice because I'm actually going to get to use Wind of Death in a pretty... Whoa, yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. In a pretty clear fashion. And then the enemy is just going to get completely murdered. Oh, yes. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. These guys actually have some pretty decent polearms. They could do some pretty heavy damage with them. But unfortunately... Oh, no, never mind. They actually did. I spoke too soon. Yes, I spoke too soon. I thought to myself, yeah, they're not going to do any damage. But no, they actually ended up doing a pretty significant amount. If two of them had hit me at the same time, I'd probably be dead right now. Alright, and we've won. Fantastic. Rico is really annoyed at me right now, but, you know, I'm doing my part, as I said, and he is, of course, now doing his, languishing in my prisoner's hold. Yes, indeed. And now this is a bit of a problem, you see, because now we need to try and make sure that we don't get caught by Miss Molly, because she's definitely going to tear us apart. So I'd very much appreciate not slowing down. So I'm just going to try and capture as many units as I can on the way out, and then we'll see what we can do. But the main, see now, what I found out, or at least what I've kind of deduced in my own head, yes, I know, it's very difficult to assume that I would deduce anything, but what I have found out, or worked out, is that having so many skeletal units, while it might be very good in the form of protecting your other units from actually perishing in battle, it is not so good at prolonged warfare. Because if you think about it, you know, think about how, you know, we go into a battle and we're going to end up in losing a couple of people. You know, we're going to lose, it's just inevitable. You know, we're going to lose at least, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 people. Most of these are going to be skeletons. But what if they weren't? What if they weren't skeletons? Then those guys would just go, you know, possibly get knocked unconscious, and then we would be able to maintain our overall army strength. And that overall army strength would then allow us to wage more consistent skirmishes and battles against the opponent, rather than having to, you know, run away or, you know, anything like that. But obviously that's very much dependent on a number of different things. But anyway, we do have Molly here who is attempting to besiege this. This is not very good because, yeah, there was a very small defense here. Probably should have just waited inside. Actually, you know what? Hello there. Can I besiege this myself? I'm gonna try, okay? I'm gonna try and take this. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go straight on in. I don't know what she's placed in here, which is a little bit worrying. We know about the huntsman now. There are 7 of those. Might be a bit problematic. Okay, well, whatever the case, I know for certain that 1, I'm not going to be building any trebuchets because there's just not enough time for that. And 2, I don't really want to allow the opponent to consistently bombard us with their own siege weapons. And you can see here that they're almost done with one of the catapults. But if I go in straight away, there won't be any catapults. So this is going to be really nice. So let's head on straight in and try to just take this in one fell swoop really, really fast. And then Molly is not even going to know what happened. Or at least, hopefully not even know what happened. And in the meantime, this will give me an opportunity to oh yeah, I didn't actually save before we went in here. Okay. If it crashes, then you know why. Okay? And that's not going to be too good. But, you know, if it does, then that's on me, and I should have definitely saved. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyway, yeah, as I say, I'd like to use some spells here, if at all possible. I can imagine that... Oh, no. Don't shoot me again, please. Please. Oh. Well... to be fair, 121 piercing damage would have killed me no matter what. And that was a very funny way of dying, to be honest, because there was a big floppy moment right there where I just got shot through the neck, and then my character was just flailing all over the place before hitting the ground. That was actually quite amusing. If it wasn't so pathetic, I would be laughing, so... Oh, there we go. I actually did laugh. Okay, fantastic. Ah, yes. Very good. Anyway, yeah, obviously this is going to be a pretty significantly easy fight. Or it should be a pretty easy fight, because the enemy only has 67 units. I mean, it's going to be simple enough. But, as I say, it would have been really nice for me to test out a couple of things. Oh, yeah, by the way. I do realize what I should have done there, by the way. I should have summoned some skeletons, some grave guards, whatever else I wanted to summon, just so that they would protect me or act as some kind of distraction, something like that. That definitely would have made all the difference in the world. But nevertheless, we were able to achieve victory. 49 renown is ours. I'm going to be taking all of these troops and all of these prisoners, because this is technically mine now. Technically, I can say, I want to claim this fief. And that is exactly what I am going to do. I am going to claim this fief straight away. And then I will be... oh, there's a bit of a loyalty problem here as well. So what I'm going to do is we're going to try and increase the loyalty somewhat. I don't know whether that's actually even going to work. But we're going to try our best and see what happens. We're going to ransom these guys. We're going to go into the garrison here. And we're basically just going to be placing every single person in here that is an empire person. And we're going to be taking out all of the undead units and chaos units and so on and so forth. And just adding them to my own army. And hopefully that's going to work out quite nicely. You can see here that my friend, who's actually in my army at the moment too, he has placed a bunch of units in here as well, and that is obviously very nice of him, but definitely ill-advised, because I would very much prefer those units to stay within our within our army. That would be really good, actually. So let me just see if I can take a bunch more. I don't think there are any others that I really want to take, so we're just going to leave 176 in here. Do I have anything that I really want to keep or swap around? Doesn't seem like it. Okay. Now, what I am actually really interested in is a siege defense. I would be very intrigued as to how that would go, because as it stands, I've never done one of those with a magic-based system. Because I remember in another Warhammer-based mod for Warband, I remember in Warsword Conquest, I don't believe, had access to magic in sieges. I think they made it possible in one of the later versions, but it was a bit difficult to get it working because the enemy also had the ability to use magic. And as a result, it was kind of like a bit of a stalemate. I'm obviously not entirely sure how it is now because it's been years since I've played that. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting in itself, but I think it would be really amazing for me to try out Wind of Death or Withering Wave or something like that for, you know, against a bunch of units that are attempting to besiege our town and to all be congregating around one central location. That could be really, really fun. So hopefully we're going to get the opportunity to do something like that, but for now, that is going to be it for this episode. You can see that Baron Derek is actually going over here and attempting to take a castle too, which I very much appreciate. How are we actually doing, by the way? Seems like our home base is relatively secure for the moment, but we are overextending ourselves a pretty great deal. So we'll see what happens with that. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.